Ladies and gentlemen, very welcome to be here for a smart discussion with Nils Hafner. Hi, Nils.
Hello, Gregorio.
I think the best way to start is, Nils, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Nils. I work as a professor at the University for the Applied Sciences in Lucerne, especially in the field of customer management. That means everything in marketing, in sales, and in customer service.
Thank you, Nils, for the short introduction. As usual, you said not quite a lot of things, but in Switzerland, and I would say in the DACH region, you are something like the CX Pope or the CX Guru. I already heard quite a lot of names about you, and I think it's really great to having you here. Thank you very much for your time. And I read the 1st of January 2021, a great article that you published, and this is about the customer experience trend radar. It's something that Niels and his colleagues are publishing every year. And perhaps let's start deep diving on this. Where did came this idea to create a CX trend radar?
So I'm doing this for a very long time, Gregorio. So I started in 2006 pointing out the CRM trends for the year. That means putting together what I saw in the previous year, putting together the development in technology, the development in processes, and in sciences around customer management, and then pointing out one to six trends for the next year, which will be feasible in the market, which will be relevant in the market, and which could be seen as a kind of a trend report. And I found out that I'm not the only one who is doing this, and I learned to know a very great expert in Germany called Harald Henn. He's doing this for quite a long time. So I think he's active in the market since 30 years or something like that. And so he was doing nearby the same thing, but more from a technology perspective. And so in the end, we thought, okay, let's put our knowledge together and try to have a more holistic view on customer management. And what we found out is that there are a lot of let's call it bullshit terms in the market. So this is quite a problem, especially in the German speaking region, because especially consultants try to mix up German and English words totally senseless together, and in the end you don't know what they want to point out. And so we were asking ourselves, what is really relevant today? What is a trend? What is a serious development? And with which trend should a senior management person in customer management deal? Which trend should be on his or her radar? And so what we developed is the customer experience management trend radar.
And I went through the old version, and I think it's really interesting because you are really focusing on the most important topics: structure, people, process, and technology. But based on the fact that I have you on the stage, it's better that you explain the trend runner and not me. I am a big fan of this radar. I'm using it really in quite a lot of meetings to show also what is happening on the market. But again, Niels, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Greg. So as you said, we took the classical structure out for developing this trend radar. So we have three dimensions. It's the people dimension, where we see trends like CX strategy, the feedback loop or the employee experience management, the process dimension, where we see the classical customer journey mapping and the customer journey management, and topics like omnichannel, topics like the management cockpit, and in the end, the technology dimension, where we see all the different technology trends. So within these three dimensions, we positioned overall 18 in the original version in 2020, 18 different trends. Now we topped it a little bit up to 19 trends, and we renamed one or two of them. And these 19 trends we positioned on a maturity model, and this maturity model is it goes from the least mature stage, the vision stage, over a prototype stage, into the acceptance, of the standard, to the commodity. And so let me point out what I mean by this. So when we see a trend very early in some other great instruments, like the Gartner hype cycle, yeah, and you see, okay, people are talking about this, and it is a kind of a term, a new term, and it's a hype topic, yeah. So it's most of the time in the vision stage. Vision stage means everybody's talking about this, but nobody knows how to bring this to life. This changes when normally great companies start to build prototypes. And the first time a company has a prototype, they look at it and ask, okay, is this a feasible prototype? Is this a viable prototype? And so more and more companies are building prototypes. And in the end, it turns out that it is maybe a useful thing. It turns out that maybe a service cloud system or a CX management cockpit is a useful thing. And then companies all over the different industries start to accept this. And this is what we call the acceptance stadium. The acceptance stadium means that people know, okay, this is a useful thing, but not everybody has it. Yeah, and so then it is about bringing things to life, establishing real projects, bringing it into work, and from the acceptance phase, it goes into the standard phase. So, and the most mature phase is the commodity phase, and we have two trends: that's CRM systems, and on the other hand, the customer data platform, which are in the commodity phase. And we want to show this for 1 or 2 more years, and then it drops out of the trend radar because it's common sense. It's a commodity. Everybody has this instrument in real work, and nobody's talking about this anymore because it's totally a standard and commodity thing for everybody. Okay, so this is the main idea of having this trend rider, and so it is an instrument for a decision maker to understand which trend is really relevant, which trend is mature for my company. Are there really working prototypes, or is this really in the stage of acceptance that I need this to have a comparative advantage in the market?
Yes, it was extremely understandable, and for sure we will make also one link available to show that, to see that, because one picture is always easier to understand than your explanation. But it was extremely clear, and I think I really like also the simplicity of the representation with these three big topics: people, process, and technology, and where they are in the maturity model. And thinking back to what you said, and you did the example of the CRM system that in 2 years it will be common sense. I hope so. I am not so sure that it will be for all the companies. However, I think I fully agree. And one example of topics that are in the early stage is like virtual reality. I saw quite a lot of fancy use cases, but not really one big solution that could really help in customer experience. And basically also to link to what you said to the next question. And you said we are speaking about people, process, and technology. And often also in the past it was, oh, I find out a great technology, try to find a use case. And now, where are the biggest priority nowadays? It's more people, it's more process, it's more technology, or you need all of three?
First of all, you need all of three. It's always a mixture. Just with people, you can't scale. You have no possibility to serve large numbers of customers. You need processes for these, and making the processes work, you need normally technology. So you need all three of them. So in the end, it depends on what you want to do. And let me point out what happened in the last year. So in the last year, we realized that we have a lot of projects in the field of sales management, in the field of getting in touch with the customers, avoiding closed shops in the pandemic, investing heavily in e-commerce systems, and investing heavily in technology and marketing automation. And what we saw at the same time is that innovation, the process innovation or the innovation on the people side, came nearby to zero because of the lack of funds. And so this is really interesting. So what we see at the moment is that developments in customer experience management are so much technology driven, and there is nearby no overall concept behind this. So what is the most important from our side? Our point of view is developing a CX strategy and a really reliable omni-channel concept. Because what we did is we established separate channels, especially for the marketing and for the sales field, because we lost touch during the pandemic. And now it is about bringing it all together and designing an overall differentiating customer experience. That means that the customer should realize what makes you as a company different to another company offering the same product for nearby the same price.
I think that's interesting, and to come back to the point you mentioned, omni-channel. I think companies started having one or two channels, and now in the meantime they have 7, 8 channels. If we speak about WhatsApp and all these additional tools, and I think also from the progression several years ago we were speaking about multi-channel, and that's something what everybody has. We're speaking about omni-channel. My question to you, it's do you think really that the companies need to offer all the channels to their customers, or are we
Mhm.
already in this direction of hyper personalization and therefore companies should be on the channel of choice of the customers?
Indeed, the latter one. What what we see is that a real omni-channel, that means every channel available, approach is just feasible for large companies with a lot of budget. So it is a matter of budget. So if you are planning to have an intelligent approach to customer experience management, it is the latter thing. That means you should concentrate on where your customer wants to be. And this is one perspective. The other perspective is that not every channel and therefore every touch point is ideal for every kind of business. So let me give you an example which is understandable by everybody. It is the matter with email and customer service. I personally think that email is not a very appropriate channel for customer service. Yeah, because you have this time lag. You have this time lag, and that means you write an email as a customer. The company reads this. Some employee reads this, and the employee does not understand what is meant by the customer. So, because you have stupid rules in your company, that means the inside channel is also the outbound channel. You write an email back with questions. Yeah, this email is read 2 days later by the customer and answered by them. Just because you answer by email, there is no chance that the customer writes in a better way that you can understand this. And so what you're doing is you're playing ping pong. And so just take a step back and think about what's the real purpose, what is the real idea of the customer using customer services. It is getting a solution. And so for that it is maybe not the best touch point to use an email or the best medium. And so what I see is that superior companies, for example, a large pharmacy company in Basel, said, okay, we're not using email anymore for the internal customer service in IT because it takes us too much time and it's too much hassle for the customer. And so I think it's always a good idea to select channels on the one hand, and on the other hand, to think a little bit, what does your customer want and what is appropriate? What's the appropriate instrument for solving the customer's problem in time?
I think this is one great example. It's this ping pong, and then if you link this also with KPIs like first contact resolution, it's extremely difficult to have a good first contact resolution with email. And one additional topic to mention, it's also about how these email are structured, because most of the time you have multiple questions in this email, and for one you need perhaps still a signature. For another, it's only an information that you could find on the web page, and the third one you can do that, but then you have always several requests at the same time, and the same agent needs to handle them. And therefore I think this is key what you are saying. And also related to that, everybody knows that the joke, who is driving digitalization in the companies? Is the CDO, response A, response B is the CEO, response C is the COVID-19. And this is the joke that everybody is saying COVID-19.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned something that I would like to deep dive. On one side, yes, we have an acceleration of digital. We need to go digital because of pandemic and everything what is happening. But on the other side, you mentioned also something that is really important. It's budgets. The budgets are decreasing. How is it possible to balance budgets that are going down with the big need of going up with the digitalization?
Indeed. So first thing is we have to concentrate. We have to concentrate on the real differentiating customer experience. That means we have to think about differentiation. Yeah, where is differentiation possible? Where do we have the chance to differentiate against the competition? And finding out where this is possible, you should spend your budget on the really differentiating moments in a customer experience. And so on the other hand, that means you have to cut budgets on the other moments. So this has to do with automation. And when we think about customer experience management, we should always think about, do we have a chance to differentiate ourselves against the competition, or does the customer just need a simple solution, a simple problem solution to go on, and it is not the time to offer him additional products or services? And so I think this is the core idea here. Where can you automate, and where should you avoid automation? This is the second question is also somehow important.
I think that I fully agree. And I think back also about this topic. On one side is exactly what you are saying, differentiating where I can do something additional for our customer, and also thinking one step forward. I think Genesis is defining it like moments that really counts. And these are the moments where, for example, you miss the flight, or something gets stolen. And then really you need to help the customer. You need to find a way to cope, also not from a process point of view, but also from a human to human interaction with this customer, because perhaps they lost the keys or they missed the plane, and they have their story to continue. And I think this is really a key topic. Let's quickly go back to the trend rather. You mentioned that you are doing that since several years. What are the biggest changes in 2021?
So the biggest changes is on the one hand, we added the topic of CX governance. That means finding a way to establish rules in the company, who is responsible for customer experience management, for the design and the delivery of customer experience management, who's responsible for bringing in ideas, who's responsible for checking if the whole direction of the company goes into a customer-centric direction. And so this is one big point for us, because most of the companies are not really talking about this. They are establishing a division or a department or just a team for customer experience management and say, okay, your job is to make the company more customer centric and to provide an excellent experience for our customers. And as long as you are a team of 2, 3, or 5 in a company of 15,000 people, you feel sometimes a little bit lost because it is not your job to deliver customer experience. It is your job to find out where you have today not that optimal customer experience and where to improve. But for the for improvement itself, you need a lot of more people. And so I think more and more companies, especially the excellent companies, are coming on that idea and saying, okay, this is really, really important. The second thing is what makes a huge step towards maturity is the idea of the so-called value irritant matrix. That means finding out where you can automate or where you should automate or where you should avoid automation for providing human to human. You said it in the perfect way, Gregorio. Human to human interaction on a high level with a high degree of experience for the client. And this is these are I think at the moment the most important two things. On the other hand, we see that during the pandemic, during 2020, augmented reality, virtual reality systems made a huge step to maturity because it is a good idea to come closer to your customers on a digital way. So that means simulating real life experiences, providing nearby real life experience, immersive experiences in a digital and distant way to stay healthy. On the other hand, what we see is on the way, especially in some companies, especially in the services companies and financial services and the telecommunication services, is providing conversational AI. That means all these what we say are chatbots, voice bots on a conversational interface like Facebook, like WhatsApp, or like the Amazon Alexa system. They made a huge leap here in the last 12 months because people are sitting at home and they're using these systems every day, and they are somehow different to person-to-person interaction. Maybe they are new and they're exciting, and so this works a little bit more or a little bit better than before.
Thank you, Nils. And perhaps you spoke about 3, 4 trends that are really important. And one strange question: which one of the 19 trends do you like most, and why?
At the moment, for sure, I like two things most because they are paying my rent. To be honest, when I'm talking about at the moment about steering customer experience management, it is about the financials. It is about proving that customer experience management pays off. And for that, you need a viable management cockpit. You need a viable, a reliable management cockpit that shows you the business numbers, you shows the relation to the core KPIs in customer experience management, the net promoter score, or for example, the customer effort score or customer satisfaction, and in the end, the key process indicators. And when we're talking about processes, we talk about marketing, we talk about sales, and we talk about service. And service, for example, could be a first contact resolution rate. Yeah, as a very, very, very interesting indicator here. The second thing is, as I mentioned before, the value irritant matrix, because I'm totally convinced that in the times of digitization, the core question is what should we automate and what should we avoid to automate? Let's take a certain industry. Let's take the banking industry. In the banking industry, they made a lousy job in the end of the 1990s, beginning of the 2000s. Yeah, they automated their customer relationship. Yeah, they introduced e-banking, and the core idea was to avoid that people go into the bank branches. Yeah, and every visit in the bank branch costs time. And they said, okay, normally most of the banking needs could be done over the e-banking. And so the result was that all the people, wealthy people, well-educated people, young people, dropped massively into the e-banking systems and used the e-banking systems. And so the banks lost their human-to-human contact. Yeah, they lost touch with their customers, and so banking became more and more a standard, if not a commodity. On the other hand, the people who are not that profitable, especially elderly people, especially not so IT people with high IT literacy, they went to the bank branches longer, and they needed more time. And so this is not the best way to automate, and we should avoid doing the same mistake the second time, yeah, because this is stupid, and we should avoid stupid management. And so it means to learn a little bit about what is really a good idea for automating. That means customer dialogues where the customer sees a value and says, "Okay, I need an answer. I need service. I need products," and trying to put against that the view of the company. That means, okay, is there a sale in for me? If yes, we should speak with the customer. Is there something new, kind of a new wisdom in it, a new idea how to make our business smarter? Then we should speak with the customer. Or is it quite cheap? Is it cheaper to speak with the customer in person? Yeah. If not, yeah, then we should automate the contact, especially for all the contacts where we knew the question, where we know the question, and where we know the answer. And so it's by far better, and it's by far better for the customer too, to have a very entertaining and exciting automation system helping me with my question than having somebody on the phone who has to answer the same question for the 50th time the day. And maybe he's not in his best, he or she is not in his or her best mood anymore. And so automation could be a nice thing from the perspective of customer experience and from the perspective of budget.
Sure, thank you very much. I think that's the key. I am fully agree with you, and we discussed quite a lot about the value return matrix. I personally don't understand why it's not more known in the market, because it was defined the first time in 2008 by Bill Price, the first VP of customer service of from Amazon, and this is really a key success factor. If you think about automation in future, you cannot automate everything, and you should really put the right budget on the right process to be automated. And I think this is the key. And I like also how you started to answering this question, because at the end you said it's paying my rent, but also for customer experience. No ROI, no party. I know it's advertising for something to drink, but this is the reality. If you want to get the budget to implement something, that you need to have a return on investment.
Indeed.
And the last part of this discussion, we spoke again human to human interaction, and this is time that we would like to get a bit more from you, Nils. And the first question is, you are a professor, you are a keynote speaker, you are going to conferences and so on. How can you ensure your work-life balance?
First thing is, I don't like this work-life balance, because it implies that work is not life. And for me, work is life. I love what I do, and I'm the only one who is responsible for getting work. Yeah, if nobody is forcing me into work. Yeah, and for every piece of work I get, the only one I can blame for that is a bad decision, it's me. And so this is the first thing that keeps me quite satisfied. Second thing is I have a lot of interaction with cool people, and they have the same idea of bringing things forward, and this gives energy. And what is the third is that I guess I have a significant lack of hobbies. I have no hobbies. So I remember one time the marketing journal here in Switzerland, Marketing and Kommunikation, made a big interview with me, and they missed out to ask me about my hobbies because I didn't said something about this, and so they had to call me because they are always pointing out the hobbies of somebody. And I said, okay, write down reading and world domination. And because I was short on time, they said okay, and they asked the university, should we write this in the journal? And my assistant at the university said, "Yeah, better you do, otherwise he gets mad about this." And so they really printed that my hobbies are reading and world domination. And if you Google for reading and world domination, in German Lesen und Weltherrschaft, then you get exactly in one click to my blog, Hafner at CRM.
Very, very nice. And I think word domination, and I can understand that, and therefore I'm really happy to be one of your friends, because then I am on the right side, not on the wrong side.
Absolutely, you are my friend.
Thank you for the confirmation. I will keep the recording forever.
Cool.
Which book are you reading, or which book would you share with us? I know you wrote also a really interesting book, perhaps not speaking about this book. I will put the link in the show notes, but
Yeah.
perhaps something that you want to share with us.
I think a lot of people shared this already. The effortless experiences is for me at the moment still my favorite book. Still my favorite book because I got two or three aspects from it, and proven by numbers, which I saw in my own practice, and I thought it's very confirming for me that they made this research on the other side of the ocean concerning what people really want. And so that was a book. You can sum it up in one sentence. Nobody is waking up in the morning and says, "Oh my God, I want to call my insurance company. This is the best things I ever did. I'm going to call my insurance company." Most people wake up and say, "Okay, today I must call. I have to call my insurance company. It is an obligation because I want to get things done. I don't really want because I will wait for a long time. I will have a big discussion, and in the end, I get a problem solution." But this is the case. So avoid unnecessary efforts, and this is a great book for that.
I read it and I fully agree with you. If the audience would like to contact you, you mentioned your blog. What's the best way to contact you?
I think if you put Nils Hafner into with the correct spelling into Google, I'm just one click away from you. Yeah, it may be LinkedIn, it may be my blog, it may be the university's website. So it doesn't matter. The only Nils Hafner you find in the internet, it's me, except of one, I think, 15-year-old boy in Germany playing football. If you see anything together with football and Nils Hafner, except of this podcast, for sure, Gregoria, then it's not me.
Okay, but you can confirm you are not an hologram. You are the real and the right Nils Hafner.
Yeah, the one and only.
That's perfect, and we were really great for all the information that you gave us. And this is really my very last question, and it's always the same question. Do you have one gold nugget that you want to leave to the audience? It's something that we already discussed, or something new?
Yeah. The funny thing is, I don't have because it is too simple for me. It is too simple, and I thought about this a long time after you asked me to be your guest in this podcast, And I think, no, I have no gold nugget because the things are not simple. And maybe if you want to have a quote, I have a quote from Umberto Eco, a great writer, one of my favorite writers in fiction. And Umberto said, okay, there's always, for a complex problem, there's always a simple solution. But this is most time wrong.
Thank you very much, Nils. It was great, and I really like this sentence. Also to the audience, thank you very much for your time, but in particular to you, Nils. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gregoria.
It was again a big pleasure to be with you, and I'm looking forward to it. Also the next discussion with you. Have a nice day. Bye bye. Arrivederci. Grazie mille.
Bye.